It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 201. I'm back from a very much needed break. I've been around a while there. It seems like as far as like wrestling news goes, there's been a lot of news, but there hasn't really been too much. I mean, nothing that's like monumental or groundbreaking. I mean, I have a few bits of news to get through. I mean, I got nothing too big. I guess what I've been up to is just went to Comic-Con. I mean, if you follow me on social media, you'd see that we had Big Texas Comic-Con, which is the big thing here in San Antonio. It used to be called Alamo City Comic-Con, but for licensing reasons, that's no more. Long story short, the guy who was in charge of Alamo City Comic-Con, ended up owing a lot of people a lot of money. Because I know we had Arnold Schwarzenegger. He came here in like 2018, I believe. And that was a giant clusterfuck. Long story short, Google it. So, yeah, now it's called Big Texas Comic-Con. It's no longer called Alamo City Comic-Con. But oddly enough, there's still a Facebook page called Alamo City Comic-Con, which is odd. We have that and Celebrity Fan Fest, which is, I haven't been to one personally because, I'm not gonna pay $200 to take a picture with fucking Chris Evans, which I'm pretty sure he's not gonna charge that much. But I doubt Chris Evans is gonna want to come here to San Antonio. Oddly enough, I think the first Celebrity Fan Fest, they had a lot of Justice League stars. I think Ben Affleck was here, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher. I don't know if Ezra Miller was here. And Gal Gadot, I know for a fact wasn't here. So I haven't been to one. I mean, I might go to one in the future if I have that kind of scratch. But yeah, Big Texas Comic-Con was a lot of fun. I went there right after work. I was only there for an hour and a half. We didn't really do much. I mean, yeah, I saw a friend of mine that was there, and she was one of the volunteers, and one of my best friend. She's Jessica. She's been on the show before a few times. You might remember her. One of my dearest friends. I went there to go see her, talk for a little bit. Took a picture with David Koch. I don't know if I say his name right. Kochner or Kochner. You've seen him before. He's been in movies like Anchorman, Whammy. That guy. I Miss Your Musk. That guy. It's pretty cool. I literally just walk in, and I think he was the last celebrity. Him and Lita were there, and she's just like, "Do you want to take a picture of David?" I was like, "Sure," and he was cool. And then she asked me, "Do you want to go talk to Lita?" I just went, "I'm good." That was just never been a Lita fan personally. I was always a Trish guy, but that's just me. What else can we talk about? But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been going on to. Starting another, I guess, new-ish work schedule. Next week, I'll be working I'll be off Wednesdays and Thursdays now. Kind of like before. I'm still working mornings. I'm just going to be off Wednesdays and Thursdays, just how I prefer it. It's good for the show, and it's good for me. So, it's a win-win. What else? I mean, it's really about it. I mean, yeah, football season's back. Got that to look forward to. Cowboys are looking pretty good. So far, they're 4-1. I mean, granted, they've been beating pretty bad teams, which, again, you should be beating bad teams. Those are the games you should win. It's their only loss of the season was to the Buccaneers, and of course, it's going to be the Buccaneers. I mean, it's fucking Tom Brady. Come on, you're gonna lose to anybody, it's gonna be the fucking Buccaneers. They barely lost. Like, they barely lost. And then they've won 4 in a row since then. They beat the Eagles, which good because I hate the Eagles. They destroy the Giants. Yeah, again, 4 in a row, big games, and now they're gonna play my Patriots. 2 of my favorite teams playing, and the Patriots are kind of an ass team this year too. That Mac Jones guy. He's very good. He's very good. I see something in him. I mean, he's obviously very green. But he has something to him. I like what I see about him. I liked the way he played against Tampa Bay. Like, that was kind of his coming out party. And they won a game recently, so good for them. They beat the Texans, so fuck the Texans. And pretty soon basketball season's going to start. Not sure how that's going to turn out. It's been kind of, I don't want to say scandalous, because that's kind of an odd word to use. The NBA making it very clear, get the vaccine or you don't play. And Andrew Wiggins before was, doing the whole, well, it's a religious thing. And now he's like, you know what? I need money. Like, I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my kids. So he got the vaccine. Kyrie Irving making it very clear he doesn't want to get the vaccine because reasons. So, what a dumbass, by the way. The Nets made it very clear, you either get the vaccine or we're trading you. And Kyrie Irving said, if I get traded, I'm retiring. Yeah, bye-bye. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has money, but it's like, come on, dude. You have a chance to win a championship. Just don't be a dumbass. Idiots. And then my Spurs. My Spurs are... this is probably the youngest team I've ever seen from this team. A lot of unknowns. Some role players, but a lot of unknowns. But the only person left from that 2014 championship team is Pop. And supposedly Pop is done after this season, which I don't blame him. He's done. I think he's checked out since Tim left. Like, he is done. Like, he looks like he does not want to be here anymore. And then Manu just got a front office job, so good for Manu. Basketball is always fun to watch, but at the same time it isn't. I mean, because all it is, hey, let's shoot 500 three-pointers a game. I mean, no competitiveness. None whatsoever. And I would think that, I'm going to sound like CM Punk for a little bit, I would think that the NBA is going to get much better without LeBron James, but it's only going to get worse with his idiotic son. So, who's apparently talking to Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. So, yeah. Grooming. So we got that. And then the baseball playoffs, which I'm not really a baseball guy. Never have been. If I had to go for anyone, I would say I'm going to go for Houston. Because San Antonio doesn't have a baseball team. I mean, the closest we have are the Texas Rangers, but as long as I've been San Antonio, we've always been a Houston Astros city, which is odd to say. But again, we don't have a baseball team. We used to have, the Missions, but that was a minor league team. And there's another team we have. I can't really think of them at the moment. We only have an NBA team, by the grace of God. No NFL team. For years we've been trying to get NFL teams. We were trying to get, I believe, the Raiders, the Saints, and we tried to make a play for the Cowboys. That didn't work. We had hockey teams. We had the San Antonio Iguanas, but again, that was minor. And then the San Antonio Rampage, again, another minor team, which it was kind of cool seeing them on an NHL hockey game. So, sweet. All we have is the Spurs, which I think at this point that's all we need. So, yeah. Yay. Yeah, I guess we can just dive into some wrestling news. I guess the big news of the week is that this Friday. Oh, well, there's no AEW show on today. I believe that's going to be on Saturday. And this Friday, for AEW's Rampage show, SmackDown will be airing an extra 30 minutes. That will be going into Rampage's first 30 minutes. And SmackDown will be on FS1 this week. It's not going to be on Fox. The last time SmackDown was on FS1, they drew at least 1 million. So, and then Tony Khan, of course, has to hype up his company, which good. He put out a tweet saying, "I saw what you're doing. I saw you're doing a half-hour head-to-head with us. I can't wait to finally beat your main show head-to-head. It's been a long time coming. See you next Friday for AEW Rampage on AEW on TNT." Boy. This Friday's SmackDown on FS1 is stacked with the following matches. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks in a non-title. King of the Ring semifinal, Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Finn's more than likely going to go over. Queen's Crown Tournament semifinal, Carmella versus Zelina. Sonya Deville says she will return to the ring as Naomi. And Brock Lesnar will appear. AEW Rampage is also stacked. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. That's stacked. Ruby Soho versus The Bunny. Inner Circle versus Men of the Year. And Junior Dos Santos. I want someone to explain to me which one of these things is not like the other. Okay. I'm going to go back to WWE show. King of the Ring semifinal. Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. AEW. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, formerly known as Evan Bourne. Which will probably be a nice match. But probably not as good as Finn Balor and Sami Zayn, if I'm being perfectly honest. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say they might be evenly matched. You know what I mean? Because CM Punk is more than likely going to win that match. Matt Sydal is okay in the ring. I mean, I thought he was better as Evan Bourne. That's just my opinion. Finn Balor is always going to be Finn Balor. He's always going to have a great match. Sami Zayn can have good matches, but at this point he's more of a gimmick. He's more of a character than a wrestler. And there's no chance in hell he's winning because he's not going to want to go to Saudi Arabia. Another match, Queen's Crown, Carmella versus Zelina. Ruby Soho versus The Bunny. Out of all those women, Ruby Soho is the best wrestler. Carmella versus Zelina, I don't know why that's a match. I mean, it should be Liv versus fucking Toni Storm, but whatever. The Bunny is just not good. From what I've seen for him, she's not very good. You know, Ruby is great. Carmella is bleh. Zelina has just been a complete bag of bleh ever since she's come back. I don't know who to get at the edge to, honestly. What looks like it's going to be the main event. I mean, Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Brock Lesnar appearing is going to be big. It's going to, spike a rating. Sonya Deville coming back to wrestle against Naomi. I mean, good for Sonya. I'd prefer her as just the authority figure. Main event being Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos. That Junior Dos Santos guy, okay. He's obviously someone that can whoop my ass. Anyone on the show can whoop my ass, even the women. I might get some few licks in on Marco Stunt. I don't know. And maybe Joey Janela. But Junior Dos Santos cannot work. As a wrestler, he cannot work. Like, he was throwing some pretty shit punches. And then he had to sell for Jericho. For whatever reason. I don't care about this match. I don't really care about Rampage. I mean, Rampage was interesting. They had that one. I mean, they just had that one show with CM Punk coming in, and ever since then, it's just been not a very good show. I mean, their ratings continue to dip. I mean, at this point, they're getting NXT ratings. And then Tony Khan wants to say, "Oh, well, I can't wait to beat your show head to head." It's no, Tony, no. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. At all. Not at all. I would be shocked if SmackDown doesn't at least get 900,000. Since they're on FS1. And I don't know of a lot of people that have FS1. I know Fox, it's easy for them to get 2 million because Fox is basic cable. Even if you didn't have cable in general, or even, DirecTV, you can turn on I don't know if this works anymore. I mean, I know it worked for me in the past. You can turn on just a regular television set and just go to channel 29 to get Fox. Or you can use bunny ears. Or, not bunny ears. But, Jesus Christ, I'm dating myself. I'm only 32, I'm dating myself. You can get antenna and find Fox. Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, and PBS. Reference. So, yeah. All you need is just Fox. Fox is basic cable. So you see, Rampage ain't gonna do shit. They're not gonna do shit at all. They're not gonna beat. They're not gonna sniff. They're gonna sniff SmackDown's 1 million viewers at all. Like none at all. Like I like CM Punk, but it's just, and I've been saying, I said this recently. The CM Punk act has kind of run its course. It's either close to running its course or already ran its course. We're happy to see him back, but CM Punk does not move the needle. He doesn't. He didn't before. I mean, if we're forgetting him as champion, his run as champion, those 434 days, he was one of the lowest rated champions. I mean, are we forgetting that? CM Punk does not look like... I mean, let's talk about the airport test. The airport test is always important. If I saw CM Punk in an airport, I would have thought he was the basis in a really shitty punk band. I would have thought he was just a regular dude. And CM Punk says that too. Like, no one recognizes him. Well, I'm pretty sure he gets recognized if you're like a hardcore fan, but if you're just a casual fan, you see CM Punk like, oh, who's that guy? Is he a wrestler? Roman can pass the airport test. Bobby Lashley can pass the airport test. Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, can pass the airport test. Damian Priest, he could, but he could also be like, oh, that guy looks like he plays bass in a metal band. You know what I mean? I mean, he's tall as fuck. He can either be he'll either get misinterpreted, or not misinterpreted, but like confused with either an athlete, professional athlete, a movie star, or someone who's like in a really kick-ass metal band that you see in New York. CM Punk is neither of those. Bryan Danielson is neither of those. Nobody in AEW fits the criteria of, these guys are somebody. Except Big Show and Mark Henry. And they're not even on the active roster. Not even Jericho. I mean, if you didn't watch wrestling and you saw Chris Jericho, you would have thought, oh, this guy looks like he's in an 80s metal hair band. And he's way past his prime. I mean, here's the best way I can describe AEW and WWE. WWE is where you go to become a star. AEW is where you go to become a great wrestler. And to be more creative. That's the one advantage that AEW has over WWE is creativity. But at the end of the day, it's very much a boys' club. I mean, you look at it, it's run by Kenny and the Young Bucks. it's run by Cody. You know, I don't even think Jericho has even a lot of pull. You know, if you're a tag team, you're gonna be under the Young Bucks' thumb. Yeah, I mean, I know the Lucha Bros are the tag team champs, but what exactly have they done since winning it? When the Young Bucks are tag team champions, they're always on TV and they're always defending the titles. So, just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if the Young Bucks won those back. I mean, look at Kenny Omega. Kenny defends that shit constantly. I don't know. But, I mean, Cross, I don't like what they're doing with Cross. I mean, I've already told people like Kevin this. I hate the mask, or helmet, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I hate the suspenders. I get why he's doing it, because, you know, Cross, we're forgetting that Cross isn't exactly, like, he's not some, like, you know, some salty veteran. Like, he's kind of new. Like, he's been around, he hasn't really been around that long. He hasn't even been around for a decade. And so he wants to make the best impression that he can. So I get it. You don't have any control over what you do. And eventually, there's a possibility that he's going to lose the helmet, that he's going to lose the suspenders, and we're going to get Scarlett back, which, according to him, you know, she's going to come back sooner rather than later, which good. You know, Keith Lee's now Keith Bearcat Lee, which, okay. Damian Priest is the only guy out of that bunch that actually got to keep his old gimmick, and they haven't fucked with him yet. So he's doing something right. Cross, I'm not sure if he's doing something wrong, or if he's not doing something right enough. I don't know what they've done with Cross. Keith Lee is just, it's almost sad to see what they're doing with him. I know I'm kind of going off topic. That's what I kind of tend to do. Let's kind of shift gears back to AEW, which is something that you'll never hear me say. So let me just pull up some other news. Let's see. Tony Khan. Tony Khan was on I don't know if it was a podcast or a radio show. It was called WFAN's Moose and Maggie Show. And when asked about Bray Wyatt coming to the company, he said he's a great wrestler. Again, I gotta be honest, we haven't really talked at all. Bullshit. I've known him in my personal life, and I've gotten to spend a bit of time with him. But as far as that, we haven't talked. I saw a bunch of rumors, but that's not something anybody's really talked about. I think. You never know. It's also been stated that Impact Wrestling does have interests for Wyatt. Those close to Wyatt saying there are no plans for him to join Impact Wrestling. We'll get to Impact Wrestling in a bit. I mean, Bray, him going to AEW would be interesting because it would give him more leeway to be more creative. But it's just, for one, the roster's already stacked as far as talent goes. It's like thick. And also, we already have the creepy, spooky guy in black. So, here's what I think could happen. I think he might end up going to Impact, especially since Braun Strowman's going to be there. Which, that's already the talk of the town. He's going to Impact. And fuck. You know, bring back Eric Rowan and reform the Wyatt family. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? I mean, bring some engineers to Impact. You know, AEW, they're already good with talent. WWE is already good with talent. Bring back, you know, Bray should go to Impact. I'm not you know, saying that's the one thing he should do. I'm saying that would be good for Impact. That would be good for him, you know, because the schedule, I would imagine, is going to be really easy. And Bray would be the biggest star on that roster. And he would also maybe have an opportunity to work on AEW. I mean, can you imagine? You know, Bray Wyatt on Impact, and he calls up Malachi Black to the Impact Zone. zone. And Braun, who's apparently going to be Titan, which, it's definitely not the worst name I've ever heard. I mean, fuck, reform the Wyatt family. Why not? Why not? Like, why the fuck not? I have no issues with it. It definitely would make Impact a lot more interesting. And Impact needs stars. That's just my opinion. Another big piece of news that I kind of need to kind of rant about a little bit. So, AEW is making another dream match happen as President Tony Khan confirmed via Twitter that Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson will take place on Rampage the Buy-In, which is a special pre-show that will air this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central on YouTube, ahead of the live episode of Rampage on TNT at 9 p.m. Eastern. Also booked for the pre-show will be Bobby Fish versus Lee Moriarty. This will come just 24 hours before Fish and Danielson face off in a singles match on Saturday's episode of AEW Dynamite. Let's see. So yeah, this Suzuki and Bryan Danielson match is what everyone's wet about. I don't see what the fuss is. I'm sorry, I don't. I know people think Suzuki is the biggest name ever in the history of ever. And I love Bryan Danielson, but it's just like, tell me why I should care about this match. You know what I mean? It's just like, I hate the idea of Japanese wrestling, and I'll explain why. It's because I hate the idea of it's the greatest wrestling ever. If you don't like it, then you should go to hell. You should renounce your wrestling fandom card thing, whatever it's called. It's just like, when I was watching All In or All Out, whatever you call it nowadays, when I saw Suzuki come out to confront Moxley, my first reaction was, who is that? I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him. Everybody, I don't even think anybody in the building was making a big deal about it. I know Moxley was, like, gasp. And everybody online was just like coming in their pants about it. I'm just like, I literally have no idea who that is. And Moxley just wrestled another 50-year-old man, and then he wrestled this 50-year-old dude on Impact like not too long. And the match sucked. I mean, it was like 12 minutes, and people were like, oh, they didn't give Suzuki a lot of time. Maybe there was a reason for that. Maybe it's because he can't work. Like, I'm sorry, he's 50-something. Like, I don't know his full age. I know he's in his 50s. But he ended up having that tag match on Rampage with Archer versus Kingston and Moxley. And that was just boring. The crowd seemed like they couldn't care. They couldn't care any less. I mean, the biggest pop of that match was when Homicide came out. Good for Homicide. I like Homicide. He is just not very good. I mean, granted, I've never seen his matches. I didn't watch his stuff in his younger days, but him at 50 years old, like, I had the same feeling of watching Undertaker trying to wrestle at 50. I mean, the last time I saw a good Undertaker match was at WrestleMania 27 against Triple H. After that, it's just like watching the Undertaker barely be able to move in the ring. I see this guy and I'm like, he should not be wrestling. He should not be wrestling anymore. I'm sorry. So, I mean, it's good if people are excited. Good for them. If you want to see this match, if you're hyped for this match, good for you. I'm not. I don't care. I have zero interest in this. I mean, I'm literally seeing people trying to compare this to sex. Like, I saw some, those memes of like, what women think we want, what men really want. And somebody had compared a beautiful woman laying half naked on a couch to this match. I'm like, men want a Japanese, want a fucking Japanese? They want a 50-year-old Japanese man? And Rob from Wrestling Court is she says, "I know you hate AEW." I don't hate AEW. I don't hate anything. I hate the idea of AEW. I hate the idea of Japanese wrestling, where it's just like, if you don't know any of these people, then you're an idiot. You know what I mean? I don't enjoy Japanese wrestling. I don't. I really don't. I don't really. I mean, I've seen it. I've liked some things, but it's just like those Okada and Omega matches were really not that great, despite what Uncle Dave had to say and what other people had to say. Just anything else, I'm just not a fan of. I'm really not. So I mean, sorry, I'm just not. So I'm not even gonna waste time. I'm not gonna watch the match. So I don't want to be one of those people that hate watches. Like I'm miserable the whole time watching. I'm like, this match sucks. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just not gonna watch it. I'm just not gonna watch it. And also the fact that they're hyping this match up and it's gonna be on YouTube and not on TNT. So I don't know. And then, like I was mentioning about CM Punk earlier, about how I'm kind of over him at this moment, I'm kind of getting that with Bryan Danielson, personally. He comes in, they bring him in, and he had the match with Kenny, and after that, it's just he's basically just another wrestler. And I get it, Bryan wants to wrestle his matches. He wants to come in and wrestle and put over talent or wrestle other talent. CM Punk at this point wants to handpick people he wrestles. I mean, he's offering to wrestle on what's the equivalent of Thunder, Rampage, and wrestle a lot of the younger guys. He had the match with Hobbs, which was not very good. I haven't seen the match with Daniel Garcia, but I heard he wrestled 15 minutes with him, which I'm just like, why? This Daniel Garcia guy gets he gets an awful lot of TV time. I'm just gonna say that. But with Punk, it's just, I've always said he needs to be an attraction. I mean, the guy has not wrestled in 7 years. He even said straight up, "I feel like trash." Like, after every match, I feel like trash, and I'm not surprised. The guy has not wrestled in 7+ years, so the guy needs to be an attraction. He doesn't need to wrestle every single week. Let him come out. Let him hype up the fans. Let him be the guy. Let him be the carny. It's like I said. Let him be the carny. Let him be the guy that comes out. Well, tonight's AEW Dynamite. We're gonna have Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, versus blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Let him be that guy. Save him for the pay-per-views. You know what I mean? Because at this point, I fear that. And I've already said I'm already there. It's diminishing CM Punk's mystique. Because he's 42, 43. And at this point I'm just like, CM Punk. How can I miss you when you're not gone? You know what I mean? And Bryan Danielson can still work. But when I watched that Kenny Omega match, I was scared. Especially after at one spot where Kenny, gave him the elite trigger or whatever the hell it's called, V trigger, right to his head. And Bryan Danielson is either the greatest actor that ever lived or he was legit hurt, and that scared the shit out of me seeing him. So my worry for Bryan is that he's going to get one wrong kick to the head and he's done. And I don't want that to happen to Bryan Danielson at all. I mean, the talk was that WWE was willing to match what AEW was going to offer, but he wanted to go to AEW anyway. So I don't know. I would have preferred if Bryan stayed in WWE just for his health. I don't want to see anything happen to him. That's just me. And Vince McMahon apparently said the same thing. I don't want anything to happen to you, which shows that Vince does have a heart, despite what other people think. But all in all, I don't give a shit about this match, Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan. Let's see what else happened. WWE Raw draws lowest ratings since before the touring. They also drew their shortest Jesus Christ, I can't talk today. Their shortest, I guess, their house show, or not even house show, but let's look at the ratings. This past Monday, Raw drew a 1.5, which is down from 1.8 last week. This is not very good, like at all. The lowest, the last time they drew a rating like this was 1.4 back on July 5th, and that was when they're in the Thunderdome. You can also blame it on Major League Baseball, but I'm going to blame it on the fact that the show was not very good. It just wasn't. And I'm going to say something that might upset a lot of people. I don't think Big E is a very good champion. I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm not. I like Big E. I like Big E the performer, and I like Big E the person. Big E as a world champion is not working. He just isn't working. I'm sorry. He isn't. He really isn't. I don't really think anything about him has changed. Because I would think as a world champion, you would at least change a little bit. He has not changed. Like, it's just the same Big E, except they have a title on him. And I get Big E's whole thing is, I'm never going to change. I'm always going to be me. I can be serious when I want to be, but at the end of the day, I'm just me. Okay, cool. I don't know. He comes out to very polite golf claps. I see him as champion. It doesn't look right. Like, anytime I see Bobby Lashley coming out with that title, it looked right. I mean, hell, when I saw Drew McIntyre come out as champion, it at least looked right. Big E needs to drop that title. They need to get the title off of Big E, like ASAP. And I get they want to build towards, Roman and Big E. I mean, fuck, they might even do a last-minute change and have, Bobby Lashley get the title back. Kind of like how they did last year for Survivor Series. They need to get it off of Big E. He's not very good. He is... This is probably going to be the meanest thing I've ever said about Big E, but he is an Intercontinental Champion pretending to be a World Champion. That is probably the meanest thing I can say about Big E. I mean, that's what I think about Kenny Omega, but for Big E, it kind of sucks because I wanted to enjoy his title run, but he hasn't really wowed me. He hasn't done anything to make me go, all right, like, let's go. Let's fucking go. And to no avail. So, get the title off of Big E ASAP. He's going to be wrestling Drew McIntyre. And Drew's going to SmackDown, so he's not going to drop it to McIntyre, that's for sure. McIntyre, I don't think is going to be champion for a while. I don't think they're going to put the title on McIntyre ever again, in my opinion. He'll fight for it, but he's not actually going to win it. And then we got Bobby Lashley and Goldberg, and MVP needs to come back already because Bobby Lashley is just bad on promos. Bad. B-A-D. Bad on promos. Like, he suffers from the same syndrome as Brock, which is tough guy, but a soft voice. You know what I mean? Because he's out there, like, trying to talk shit. He's just like, yeah, Goldberg, yeah. I'm about to kick your ass, man. I'm going to kick your ass. And you're going to kill me? You're going to kill me? Yeah. Like, I'm just like, I'm folding clothes while I'm listening to this. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's bad. Like, we need MVP back pretty quick. Like, we need him back quick. I mean, I know he hurt his ribs or broke his ribs, but I don't know what broken ribs have to do with... Well, I mean, yeah, I take that back. Broken ribs can affect you talking and can affect you try to inflect or enunciate, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully Bobby kills Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. Like, literally kills him. I'm kidding. I don't want Goldberg to die. I'm kidding. I just want him to not be on TV. What else happened? We had more I keep calling it Queen of the Ring. Queen Queen's Crown shit. Shayna went through Dana. Rhymes. So it's good to see Shayna destroy Dana Brooke, who, by the grace of God, still has a job with this company. I'm sorry. Here's why I think it's happening. I think when they do releases, they call people because the thing is, whenever they release people, they call them. Like Johnny Ace will call them. I think Dana just doesn't answer her phone, and they just kind of get tired, and they go, "Ah, fuck it. Like, we're not even gonna bother." Like, Johnny Ace is just like, "Well, Vince, Dana's not answering her phone. Damn it! Fuck it. We'll just fire somebody else. Ruby, you're fired." Like, I have a feeling that that's what really happens. Dana just somehow doesn't fucking answer her phone. Oh, man. So yeah, Dana went. Oh, not Dana, but Shayna destroyed her. Fuck. I'm never gonna call her Dewdrop again. Piper Niven went through Natalya, which good because Natalya sucks. I made the joke. I'm like, Natalya's on. Maybe I should go mow the lawn this late at night. Kevin, I forgot what Kevin Castle said. Kevin Castle said something funny. Kevin Castle actually said something funny, people. That's not a lie. It was good to see Piper get a win. I think it was supposed to be Eva Marie originally, but then Eva Marie selling that she got hurt by Dana. So now we got Piper Niven and Shayna, which good. I mean, it's the only match that seems like it has a storyline to it. Of all these women in the tournament, obviously I want Shayna to win. I want Shayna to beat Piper, and I want Shayna to destroy either Carmella or Zelina. Destroy that bitch. Destroy those bitches. That's what I want to see. Shayna destroy bitches. That could be one of the titles of tonight's episode. I want to see Shayna destroying bitches. I don't know if I can put bitches. Maybe I can just edit it out and just put BI and then exclamation mark. Yes. I don't know. Whatever. I'll figure something out. And then you had Jeff Hardy versus Austin Theory. The match was fine, and then the fucking 24/7 shit had to interfere in the match, which made zero sense. And can we get rid of that shit already? And R-Truth along with it. I'm not saying fire R-Truth. Just have R-Truth be a fucking producer or a trainer. I don't want to see him on television anymore. He's not funny. A lot of people think he's funny. I don't think he's funny. It's just the first ever African American man to win the NWA world title, and they basically treat him as a fucking joke. I'm sure Ron Killings is funny in real life, but he's just I don't like it. I don't care for it. Austin Theory wins, of course. And then Jeff Hardy teases that he's going to be Willow on SmackDown. So, cool. Or whatever. I mean, I don't really care about the Willow gimmick personally, but, people seem to care. Who the hell is messaging me? Andrew Carlick just messaged me. I'll write him later. Let's see. The main event I didn't watch, the Usos versus Drew McIntyre and Big E. That's where I switched off and started watching horror movies. Since it's October. What was I going to say? Yeah, that was Raw. Raw was pretty raw, if I'll put it that way. It was tough to get through. NXT last night, their ratings were pretty steady. They drew the same ratings this week as they did last week, 632,000. Show wasn't that bad. Who did what? Probably should have pulled up the matches, but I came in during the tag match with Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne and Rich Holland. I gotta say, and this is just my opinion, I'm pretty sure other people are going to have different opinions. I think this is probably the best and most fired up I've seen Von Wagner look. He looked like he was actually, in it, like into it, and good. I mean, Kyle, of all the people to try and carry Von Wagner, you have Kyle O'Reilly, who's this barrel of enthusiasm and charisma. But it was a fine match. Again, Von Wagner looked good out there. Von Wagner in the ring is passable. It's not terrible, but he's green as fuck, and doesn't help that he has a giant forehead. He literally looks like a fucking caveman. Like, how does creative see him and go, yeah, this is fine? Like, poor guy. Poor guy just wants to make it in the wrestling business, and we're being dicks about it. But dude, you look like a fucking caveman. I gotta be honest. Let's see what happened. Duke Hudson versus Grayson Waller. Yawn. Didn't care. Tony D'Angelo had a match. He had a match. Oh, did he have a match? No, he had a match last week, and I watched it. I thought, actually, he's not terrible in the ring, but just another stereotypical Italian gimmick. We haven't had a positive Italian gimmick since fucking, was it Bruno? I'm 32, and I'm talking about Bruno like I was there. In the main event, Isaiah Scott defending the North American title against Santos Escobar. Isaiah Scott will be going to SmackDown along with the rest of Hit Row. The match was alright. During the match, the rest of Legado came out to try and interfere in the match, and then Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams came out. That's when I realized what was really going to happen. Especially after Swerve pinned Escobar, which I was kind of pissed off about. And and then when I saw Hayes drop his not even briefcase, but his contract, I realized, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So after the match, Hayes attacks Scott and, well, not I guess cashes in his contract against the North American champion, not the NXT World Champion, which would have made a lot more sense. But he ends up beating Swerve Scott to become the new North American champion. I'm not a Carmelo Hayes fan. I just think he's very generic. A lot of people give him a lot of praise and they think he's better than what he is. Like, I see him the way a lot of people see Adam Cole, which is he's just a small guy that's very athletic and he's good in the ring. I'm going to go ahead and say that Carmelo Hayes is undersized. That he's maybe like 5'9", 5'10". I don't see anything special in him. I'm sorry, I don't. He's not good. He's not what this company needs. He's not what NXT needs. NXT needs stars. They need guys like Steiner. They need guys like, well, probably Von Wagner is going to end up being their star because they love him. You know, Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones should have been the fucking guy that won that breakout tournament and not this fucking clown, Hayes. I can't stand him. I get angry when I see him. Like, like that's how much I don't like him. I get angry when I see him because I'm just like, ugh. He's just not very good. He's not very good. They should have given it to Escobar because Escobar is much better, much more charismatic. And according to RJ, they're keeping him down there so he can train Elektra Lopez, who's obviously going to be going to the main roster a lot sooner than later. So, good for NXT. Yay. More undersized talent that should not even be champion. Or should not even be in a main event spot. I feel like I'm the only one that forgot that Elektra Lopez body slammed him. Like, how am I the only one that remembers that? It's just my recollection is if you're gonna, in my opinion, if you're gonna build somebody as a main event talent, don't let a girl body slam them. And it's not a sexist thing. It's you don't let anyone do that. Remember fucking Mark Mero? The story is Mark Mero was supposed to wrestle Stone Cold in the main event of Raw. And then the week before, Sable body slammed him. And then Stone Cold called Jim Ross and said, "Who am I wrestling in the main event?" Like that's how you look at it. And it's not a sexist thing. It's like, come on. Intergender wrestling is stupid. And I know this wasn't an intergender match, but it's fucking stupid. I don't want to see intergender wrestling ever on my TV. Ever. Never. Yeah, because there's one wrestler, I'm forgetting his name. I remember Shaheen from Breaking the Apocalypse. Shout out to Shaheen, by the way. I hope you're feeling better, brother. Was telling me about this guy. I'm forgetting his fucking name. Because he was advertised to wrestle somebody. And I remember being like, who's this guy? He was like, oh, he's a beast, blah, blah, blah. I do a quick YouTube search of him. The first match that pops up is a match with Gigi Dolan, who I forget what she used to be known as, Kimberly something. And Gigi Dolan, the ex-wife of Darby Allin, who Gigi Dolan, a very beautiful girl, fucking thick ass. He's having a competitive match against a 110-pound girl, 120-pound girl. And this guy's supposed to be a beast? Like, come on. Come on. So, yeah, when Elektra Lopez did that to him, my automatic thought was, yep, this guy is buried. Well, I don't want to say buried because I don't want to piss off Kevin Castle. But I already knew why I didn't think much of this guy. And there you go. So, he's always going to... That's always going to be ingrained in my mind, unfortunately. So, hold on. So that was NXT. What other news can we talk about? Hope I didn't delete anything. Tony Khan on My Mom's Basement. Not in his mom's basement, but with Robbie Barstool on My Mom's Basement podcast, had confirmed that Kenny versus Hangman will take place at Full Gear for the AEW title after Adam Page did come back last week and won that ladder match thing. He stated, "I'm sure you were a fan of the AEW Eliminator Tournament last year, culminating Kenny versus Hangman, which is very fitting because now as we go into Full Gear this year, we're back. And now Kenny is the world champion facing Hangman." So, I mean, this was supposed to be the main event of All Out, but then it didn't happen. And so, Hangman took some time off because he's a father, so good for him. Paige continues the tease in-ring return. She posted a photo on her Twitter, which I can't see because I'm blocked. And it's a picture of her wrestling boots, a thinking emoji, the Divas title belt, which I wonder if she's cleaned that, and a Fighting with My Family poster in the background. The former WWE Divas champion has been retired from in-ring action since 2017 due to spinal stenosis. Back in August, she made headlines during a live stream on Twitch when she noted that she is working hard to make a comeback to wrestling. It should be noted that she did state she wouldn't reveal if or when it would happen in advance to keep it a surprise. Paige has also revealed on Twitch that her WWE contract is up in June 2022, and she doesn't know if they want to offer her a new contract. I fucking hope to God they do not sign this broad back. Like, please let her go. Please. Just let her the fuck go. Let her go somewhere else. Let her go be in AEW. Pretending that she's this advocator for women. Let her go to Impact. Let her go to Brazzers. I don't care where this fucking cunt goes. Yes, I said cunt. Shut up. Deal with it. I want her gone. I want her gone. I want her gone. Please, WWE, make it happen. Don't offer her a fucking extension. Don't offer her any extension of any kind. Just let this bitch go. Let this twat go. Let this twat go. Let her go. And I'm singing. That's a better word than gone, people. I'm singing. I'm singing songs that I want her to. I had another thing about Devon Dudley. And for some reason I have the Velvet Sky one. I have no idea why. So I gotta pull this up. Hold on, people. Let me just pull up the Devon Dudley. The Devon Dudley interview. And I know I'm doing it. I know it sounds like I'm doing an ASMR video, but... Hello, people. This is Drew Yari. And I'm here to give you the news in wrestling. Oh yeah, that's right. Nothing but wrestling 24/7. 24 hours a week, 7 days a week. Alright, here we go. That was fun. Alright, Devon Dudley. Devon Dudley details why he doesn't do business with Ray Dudley. He was... I don't know what show this was on. I'm assuming this is his own show, because I know he does it on podcasts. Oh, it's called the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. Despite enjoying his current gig as a member of the Backstage, Devon says it took some time getting used to. Just for the record, I never wanted to stop wrestling. I never wanted to be a producer backstage for WWE. I enjoy it now, but it took me years to get to blah. It took me some years to... Motherfucker with these fucking ads. Come on. Nobody cares. I enjoy it now, but it took me some years to actually embrace it and like it. Bubba decided during that 2016 run that the Dudley Boys are not being treated fair in terms of the position we were in. And I get to a certain degree, but you have to understand the Attitude Era was gone. I even said that to him. It's gone. It's not coming back. While the two were always on the same page inside the squared circle, Devon says the two had different perspectives on the Dudley's 2015 return to WWE. I'm not coming back to WWE to relive the Attitude Era. In my opinion only in terms of between the both of us, I didn't feel that way like he felt. Like they were messing up the legacy that we chose. A title doesn't mean anything at this point and stage of the game when you've won 24 already. So to have another title that says you're the tag team champion at that point didn't really mean anything. What it meant to me coming back to WWE was helping the young talent out. Being able to pass the torch and go back to a place that I felt back in 2005 that we didn't leave the right way. There was still some stuff left on the table that I felt we had to come back to WWE in order for me to finish out my career the way I wanted to. The duo will depart WWE a little over a year after their return. Devon made his way back to the company a month later as a producer, but Bubba had moved on completely due to creative frustration. The former TNA World Champion wanted to bring back his popular Billy Ray character to WWE screens, but Vince McMahon was not interested. I wonder why. There's a lot here. I'm sorry. There was a contract given to us after the second run, and Bubba didn't want to sign it. He wanted to do the Bully Ray character, and Vince said no. He didn't want that. He wanted the Dudleys. He didn't want to break us up. Regardless to what we did in 2002 when we broke up, I still lay fresh in their minds that we were better as a tag team, and it's his sandbox. You have to play in his sandbox or go home. I knew coming back we weren't going to be the top of the food chain, although the respect we got from the locker room was tremendous. At the same token, I knew my role in coming back was to help the younger talent and help them get over. And in order for that to happen, we got to lay down and we got to do things we probably don't want to do. But then again, that's Vince's philosophy and Vince's sandbox, and we got to play by his rules. Devon put pen to paper as soon as a new deal was offered, but Bubba held out. Jesus Christ, it's a long-ass story. Well, Bubba didn't want to play fair, and I know Bubba will have his own opinion about what happened, but then again, that's the majority of it. Oh, the screen's about to go dark. They gave us both the contract. I signed it. He didn't want to sign it, and it left a bad taste in their mouth. And by the time he was ready to sign it, some time had already went by. I'm give you a timeline. When Shane came back to Detroit, that's when I signed the deal. That was in March. So the deal actually came to us in February of that year, and now they've been trying to get us to sign it, and Bubba wouldn't sign it. Now all of a sudden we go forward, and I've signed it, and he hasn't because there's still things he felt he had to take care of on his side. By the time he got through that, the company was like, "No, we don't want to sign it anymore. We're not dealing with the headaches," and they decided not to do it. It wasn't like the WWE did a bad thing by us. Let me put it to you this way. They gave us a contract that was great, and at 44 and 45 years of age, I even told Bubba, we need to take the money and just go. We're not going to get another opportunity like this again. We just need to sign this contract and do another year. If you don't do another year after it, don't do it. I'll go on my own. But I couldn't make him sign it. And according to Devon, the two don't do business anymore, but he has no hard feelings towards Bubba. I wish him nothing but the best. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm not gonna bother with all that shit. So let's go to Bubba's his other half, Madison, Velvet Sky. Let's see. Velvet Sky quoted a link to the story and then tweeted, "Fiction can be fun, LOL. If y'all only know the truth, cause this ain't it." So obviously, we're gonna hear a different side from Bubba on his podcast, which is what I was gonna say, Broken Skull Ranch. What the fuck is it called? The show that Bubba does, that Tommy Dreamer used to do. Nothing. Nothing's coming to mind. Basically, the point is what it's always been, is that Devon is easier to deal with and Bubba's a dick. I just like that story, that when Bubba was ready to sign, the company went, no. They just went, no, we don't want to deal with your shit. Go. We'll deal with Devon. Devon's better. I mean, Bubba and Devon have been a tag team for years. So at the end of the day, business is business. Business can change. Business can ruin friendships or relationships. I mean, for all we know, Bubba and Devon were just really good business friends and not actual, best friends. Because I don't know how else to explain it. But, Devon just went, I'm just going to take the money and go. I'm just going to have a nice little cushy job here in the WWE. I'm just going to be a producer. That's it. Bubba obviously wanted to do something else. Bubba wanted to relive the glory days of the Attitude Era, which is fun to think about. But if Vince McMahon wants you back as the Dudley Boys, you're going to be the Dudley Boys. Bubba wanted to be Bully Ray, but obviously Vince was like, no. Why am I going to push you? I got a young Roman Reigns here. I got fucking at the time, I got Seth Rollins, I got Dean Ambrose to push. Why am I going to push a 40-something-year-old guy who's, in the best shape of his career, but, he can talk, but you can't work. You can't be, Bully Ray was good in TNA. Bully Ray was a thing that would have been good in TNA. If you try to push that in WWE, it wouldn't have worked. It just would have came off hokey. And also Bully Ray. Come on. Same thing with Broken Matt. Broken Matt was good in TNA. When they tried to make that a thing in WWE, it didn't work. And then when they tried to bring it to AEW, oh, there's thunder. It's going to rain outside. When they tried to bring that to AEW, it didn't work. You know why? Because it only worked for a niche audience. When you try to bring it to the national audience, it does not work. So, that's pretty much all the news that was on the docket. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Kevin Castle and Trez and Baseball Chicky. Kevin, not Trez. Well, yeah, Kevin Trez have their show on the Patreon. Kevin, Baseball Chicky have their show, Castle and Chicky Adventures. There's also Jeff Littman. He has Garden of Doom, which we just did a new episode with me and him just came out where we reviewed the entire Marvel Universe, so look for that. He's also on the Patreon from Our Lips to Your Ears for just $5 a month. So me and Jeff Littman do some shit together. Do some pretty nasty shit together. Sounds kind of gay, but it is. Let's not forget about Mr. RJ, the Brooklyn Savage. You can find his podcast anywhere. We also do a Patreon show, Revenge of the Savage Nerd, just $5 a month. We're going to be doing some more Patreon shows next week. Speaking of Patreon, what about that Ruben Prime? Ruben Prime. He has his own podcast. He even has his own website. Look it up. He has his own Twitch stream, which I support. You should support it too. You should support my man. You should also support our Patreon for just $5 a month. We do a show called The Worst of the Worst where we review bad movies. Holy fuck. Now that it's October, we actually want to review good movies or enjoyable movies. Maybe even bad horror movies. But even bad horror movies are enjoyable to an extent. Holy shit, it's thundering out there. So support my boys. Andrew Carlick from False Count Radio. Let's see. Not Garden of Doom, but Breaking the Apocalypse with Mr. John Draper. B Show, Brian, and Shaheen. I'm glad to hear Shaheen's doing well. Let's see. Wrestling Court with Mr. Julian and Rob. Trying to think of another. I hope I'm not missing one. Yuck Nasty, who's made some dope ass bangers, if that's what the kids say, for my show. So shout out to him. Also, Mr. Anthony V, if you're listening, he's made some good shit for me. The Clark Street Wrestling Podcast, can't forget about them. Tyler the Trademark, can't forget about him, of course. JD, not JD from New York, the other JD from Russell Bread Podcast. Cool as fuck girl. Love her. I think she's great. And then I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone. I mean, if I'm missing anyone, or Texas Podcast Master, of course, your guide for horror movies. Love those guys. And just shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody as a podcast. I'll be back next week. Might be a new schedule. You never know. I'll be having Wednesdays and Thursdays off next week, so it makes the shows more enjoyable. Not to say I don't have fun doing the shows, but when you're off on days when you can, it's awesome. So see you guys next week. Love you guys. And most of all, peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.